Welcome back. Welcome back at the EIT Urban Mobility Hackathon. Participants, partners, and members of Baltic Startup Ecosystem. Good to have you back on our evening session where we're tackling urban mobility from perspective of new technology trends. Again, so you're zooming in just now. You are now part of Urban Mobility Hackathon, which is launching the Urban Mobility Incubator, which happens from June to July. Why would you care about that kind of event? Why would you care about incubating your ideas in our program? Because it gives you opportunity to deploy your products and services in real environment, in the city environment, so you could get your prototypes and address your errors right away, so you could present clean and crisp prototypes to your clients. So that's the program we're launching here, and this is a hackathon where we delving on ideas for the last 2 days. We're meeting city challenges with great innovative ideas that startups come up with. So right now, we are now on our last session of the Urban Mobility Hackathon, and we're going to be dealing with technologies, especially how can we deploy technologies to foster cleaner mobility, which is brought to you by Accenture, one of our main partners here. And today we have a live discussion by two Accenture fantastic employees, Zane Kalniņa, who is Open Innovation Lead at Accenture, and Staņislavs Hiļčuks, who is more known working in his work in AI, and he is a Industrials Business Lead and Open Innovation Studio Technical Lead at Accenture. Zane Kalniņa and Staņislavs will guide you through cutting-edge trends and technology which will shape urban mobility and perhaps can again foster cleaner, greener, and smarter mobility in our cities. So tune in this conversation, and we'll meet you back at 5 p.m. Zane, Staņislavs, are you with us?
Yeah. Yes, we're here. Yeah, glad to be here, and thanks for having us. And indeed, so basically, let's have a chat about the what technologies are bringing to us. And indeed, each year and everyone is trying to understand so what future holds for us. And basically, what we hear all around is something like buzzwords. So new normal, stuff will never be the same again. We are living in post-something era. And the thing is that trends, they are not actually only about what someone believes in. It's about the synergy of what's happening on the ground and what actually indeed people envision for them and what technology is there to bring to us. And actually, what's true for the startup world is the fact that it's mandatory to understand the landscape. And here, yeah, we are bringing to you this chat. And Zane, what is the actually how the Accenture works with trends and how Accenture trying to understand where to drive, where to focus, and how to bring in the new things?
Yes, hello everyone. Hello, Staņislavs. We are happy to be here with you during the hackathon and to share some of our insights that we have with you, and we will try to link it with the mobility area today. And how do we, to answer Stanislav's question, how do we look towards technology trends? Indeed, the last year has been very challenging, and COVID-19 pandemic has pushed, to say, a giant fast forward button to the future of technology, to the future of technology adaptation, and that's what each of us experiencing every day. But we want to know what's next, what's after we will return to new normal or post-new normal conditions, and how do we as a technology company look at that? Do we look at from our cases, what our solutions that we develop, or are we using some magic future telling balls? No, we are not the prophets. We are taking the good old traditional approach. We are doing a large survey a large business survey global wide. And I know that here in the hackathon, you also have team participants from around 30 countries around the world, maybe matching some of those which we have surveyed, maybe not. And we are asking the businesses and their CEOs and IT executives on their adoption and use of emerging technologies. So we are getting from on-the-ground insights from global businesses and then analyzing and then spreading the knowledge around. And this is how we take a look at it. And therefore, today I will walk you through these trends that apply all around the world. And we, in case you do develop solutions you want to scale globally, and I hope you do, then these trends will be, if you consider this technology development, they will be helpful wherever you go with your solution and whatever market or industry you want to enter in the nearest future with your solution. And some first insights, what happened, what were our first insights for the past year in technology vision was that actually the gap between the digital achievement that the businesses who have implemented digital transformation during the COVID, we have a huge gap between the front runners. They are 5 times more ahead, and then we have some laggers who are still behind because the COVID was like a cold shower for them to implement the technologies. So this is a good proof that before the change happened, we should be ready. And therefore, with our technology vision, we are looking for leaders who are ready to be the drivers and masters of the change of the technology. And I hope that you who are viewing now the presentation, developing, creating new solutions in the hackathon, consider yourselves as leaders, I will be happy to provide you with the tools, insights into the trends, become more powerful leaders knowing what's coming ahead. That's how we do it. And here, the first insight, these are the 5 trends named in a little bit poetic way to say what is expecting us in the nearest future with technology. And before we go ahead, I will just give you, I will translate to you in one sentence what each of these trends means. And the first trend called Stack Strategically is all about technology architecture and how the technology choices enterprises are making today will determine their capacity for change in the long run in the future. So all about the technology architecture. The following one, Mirrored World, is all about the growing deployment of digital twins and how enterprises are using these digital twins to gain a bigger picture and visibility to act upon also in the future with their products and solutions that they are developing. The one in the middle, iTechnologist, is about each individual, about how each person can become a technology adapter, a creator, and inventor themselves. It's by use of democratized technology tools that empowers everyone to be the drivers of change. Then the fourth one is probably the one you are most familiar with. It's called Anywhere, Everywhere, meaning that technology now gives us helps us to reimagine new workforce models, not only working from home, but working remotely from anywhere. So new technologies can be expected in this regard. And then the last but not least, from me to we, is the trend that tells how we are changing the way in technologies, how we partner through multi-party systems, and how we are changing approach to technology creation from individual to collaboration perspective. Those are the first insights. How does these trends sound?
Yeah. So wow. Yeah, Zane, thanks for that. So it's quite a number of work and quite an amount of the work which actually is being done each year, right? So. And so we are, of course, here in the Mobility Hackathon, and so our prime focus is for that. So how do all these things? So of course, it's clearly that each and every item is highly applicable, not only for the businesses but for the individuals and for the government institution. But how all of that comes to the mobility? So what is there inside for us here?
Yes, when I was getting ready for this session, and we really went through with colleagues and with our ecosystem partners through these trends, and we tried to see and pick which of the trends will have the highest impact on mobility solutions, and from which you hackathon teams and others who have joined us today could get the most newest angle insights into. And we decided that due to all the time constraints that we have today with just 1 hour, and that you want to go back to your teams working on the solutions, we will pick out the 3 out of those 5 trends, and I will walk you through the digital twins, mirrored world trend, I technologist, and from me to we. So
great. Yeah, let's jump there.
3. Let's do it. And yeah, so without further ado, then let's jump to the first trend, mirrored world, and it is about, like I have just mentioned, unlocking the power of massive intelligent digital twins. And some of you may have heard already this term digital twin, some of you may not. But in short, it is digital twin is a identical virtual representation of a physical object, process, or space. So this is something as we see in a mirror ourselves. It's just a mirror in the virtual digital environment of the physical object. And of course, companies are using digital twins in factories. So what helps to create digital twin is that it has attached IoT sensors. So it uses real-time and historic data, and also even simulated data, to virtually model different situations, products, processes, and more. And of course, this can be applied also to cities and to different mobility solutions. So let me show the examples how this trend actually looks in real cases, and I already had a little glimpse into it. I'm proud to start with smart traffic solution that is actually a solution developed at Accenture Latvia in our innovation studio, led by my colleague Staņislavs and Kristaps Bang, our innovation lead. And this is the solution that we developed some time ago recently. It's a computer vision based traffic monitoring tool, and that helps to connect all the traffic lights and monitor traffic flow, also with detecting any impediments in the way, and automate the control of the real-time traffic flow. And let me show you a small insight how this looks that you can imagine. Of course, the amount of people in the cities will rise according to the data, and city planners have to forecast and imagine and plan a lot of things how to make cities more livable. And unfortunately, building just bigger roads doesn't solve the problem. So these digital twins can help us to create virtual world where we, by using real-time data and using intelligent automation solutions, are managing the traffic flows through artificial intelligence and computer vision, that to obtain immediate response to any traffic changes, and to react on any obstacles on the road, traffic jams, accidents, so on. So of course we have to equip the city with the infrastructure necessary, and then have the software side, and the solution is there. It can be scalable to any city, and any city can add their own parameters, what they want to monitor in this specific area, and the deep learning algorithms are there to manage the traffic lights flow. So this is just one solution regarding the traffic management, but the same digital twin can be used to plan traffic around construction works, any vehicle and like a cyclist and pedestrian flow organization and tests, so that we all know, maybe, I know you are a global audience here, but we know the recent experiments with the cycling routes on Chaka Street. So basically, if Riga would have such smart city solution in place, then we could not do the experiment in real life with part of the citizens happy, part of the citizens unhappy, but we could simulate how this experiment would look in the virtual smart city of Riga, and how it would affect the public transport flow, the cars flowing and congestions and so on. And another scaling this solution, we can integrate many more features in it. And I know one of the teams is also working on such thing as a smart parking solution, which is another like add that can be add on this smart city digital twin computer-based tool. So we know that every single user experience and customer experience starts with getting to their destination and accessing it, knowing where to park their car, or maybe other lock their bicycle or other vehicle. So they can. The solution is just that you can add the destination and on real time it shows you the available places while you drive, so you can and park operators can manage the auto park, the parking lot remotely.
So yeah, so this looks really, really wonderful. So basically, we are just taking the city and creating this digital big mirror for it and working with it, right? Yeah. Wow.
Exactly.
That's great. That's great. So. Yeah, and that's wonderful, actually. So maybe we could see if there are there any questions for us. Actually, we didn't mention that everybody can ask questions to us. Hey, don't be shy, don't be silent, and feel free to ask those questions, and we will be answering that as well on the fly. And yeah, so maybe Zane, right? So this is seems the clearly easily implementable solution. Just take the map and bring it up. So is it implemented somewhere? So what are the if not, what are the impediments in order to bring this to life?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so the solutions, there are some front-runner cities that have been using already digital twin for their cities. There are Shanghai, there is another city in India, and then there is one of the top runners is Singapore. Singapore is one of the largest scale digital twin today, and it's created by Singapore National Research Foundation, so with the support of government. And this is the biggest challenge in the meantime. So there needs to be resources and funding for that to create such a massive digital twin. It takes a lot of work, but then the outcomes also in Singapore can be used by both, by government, by businesses to use these real-time data and create new solutions and plan the city, how to develop it. So yeah, Virtual Singapore is definitely the front runner in it, but I think already in Europe we also saw it in the Netherlands and in other cities. In smaller neighborhoods, we can pilot the digital twins also by trafficking just smaller area, not build maybe already whole city if we don't have that large funding yet available to answer that. So is there, I totally agree. Is there any questions from already in the chat? Yeah, we will be happy to maybe cover them. You hear each trend. So if you have some questions about digital twins, drop them in the chat and we will pick them up. While you are thinking, one more thing I wanted to say. So one is the most common way is that there is physical object and then there is the digital twin. But also we can work with just fully a virtual environment. And that's what Accenture and MacVision company is doing. So they are simulating the data and generating synthetic data to train self-driving cars in virtual environment, so that the environment or the car and the project itself don't have to be yet manufactured. And this is how we can train self-driving cars to recognize pedestrians or other things in the traffic. So this is it about the digital twins. Staņislavs, do we have already first questions in the chat?
Yeah, actually we do have, but I have in a bit of the technical difficulty to get those. So maybe if visitors can help us to get those questions, and that would be really, really great thing. Or maybe let's say, and yeah, so visitors, you are here with us. So
hey,
can you help
I'm
us
gonna
out?
take my position. Am I now visible right now? Good. Good. Right. So Andre is asking us a question regarding digital twins, and this is quite a complex question. So I'm going to read it out so you guys take heed on what's being asked here. And he's got quite a few of those in the lineup, and we'll try to make the most of these. So Andre is saying digital twin is a great physical for assets, but what could be an approach to digitize dynamic, diverse, and living ecosystems? So how applicable the digital twin is for living ecosystems and their mapping?
I think maybe Andre is asking probably in the context of cities, living ecosystems, or maybe he's thinking about biological ecosystems. There we have to ask our partners at Riga Technical University, RTU. So I know that there have been cases, yes, that the digital twins are being created like for the oceans, for example, yeah, or really living organisms, right? So it is possible. However, it is level up even more challenging. But for cities as living organisms, yeah, I believe smart city is already a living organism, right? This pedestrians, that just this real-time data gathering helps us to to get this living features, right, Stanislavs?
Indeed. So exactly, each living kind of thing, or each living system, or the kind of environment, it generates the data, and all what we need to do is just collect that data. And this is the crucial thing for the digital twins, where of course, you shouldn't be afraid of it. Just start with the collecting data, then start accumulating the data, and then start to work with the data. And as a fourth point, start creating experience with the data as much as possible, including the all interested peers, stakeholders, and actually kind of citizen businesses, and etc. So this is all about that. So I think, so who are the data generators? And actually it is, so these are the people, these are the machines. And so I believe as well that Zane will talk about the how we as a people are contributing to the fact of the data generation. And so maybe you would pause that part of how we can create the data till later. But so the other thing is, of course, Anna, so thanks for sharing the questions here. And the other question is how we can customize the experience for each and every individual, and how we can reach to the users who are not having the access to the digital or don't want to use it. So how we make the inclusion.
Mm-hmm. I think this question is already touching the next trend, if I am not mistaken, the inclusion of not yet digitally savvy, to say, people. And our next trend is about how.
So maybe let's jump to that. True, yeah. Right? So let's jump to that.
And I think I think explaining this trend will answer the question. So indeed, we are facing that, the world has been before kind of been split between the IT people, the developers, and then non-IT people who don't understand, understand the background behind the technologies, how they are built, how they are created, and how they function, how they work. But they are just the users, the least. And then the most, at least. And then the new trend is how we can democratize the technology, that each of a person can even build their own solution. For example, just create a website or application just by describing it, even in writing or in voice. By describing. And there are new tools appearing, such as no-code or low-code tools, who help each individual by. So these are already pre-coded tools where you use the models of the solution app, drag and drop, and create your own solution. So all you need is the creativity, your ideas, and then use the ready-made tool for making new solutions. And this can definitely shift a new area in bringing new innovations within enterprises or businesses and communities even, and make people starting to use those technologies if they feel that they can create technologies by themselves. And on top of that, so this is like level up. This is already creating. And for the people who don't use technologies, sometimes we are not aware that we are actually using technologies, but we are part of them and we are giving data to them. So now we are kind of interconnected even with the technology. And let's see some examples of what is there with it. So the same smart parking solution that I just mentioned in the previous trend, it's when we look from the operator, parking lot operator point of view, this iTechnologist trend means that each of us can create new blocks of the solution just by adding some information. For example, the parking lot operator just needs to select the area of the parking lot, add their installed camera there already in the parking lot, add parameters, and they have basically created a new module in the AI for working. So when you build new solutions in a hackathon teams, you should also think of how you can democratize your technology, your solution for the administrators, for the operators of the solution, to gain more faster access to the users and clients of this solution, or partners of this solution. And this thanks to these low-code and no-code development, my colleagues shared that actually the smart parking solution some 2 years ago took us 2 months to develop, train the models, but thanks to existing now developments of technologies, such solution can be created in just 2 weeks. So definitely the technologies are developing in fast pace. And some other insights how we are collaborating with local partners. We also used low-code approach to create a prototype for we wanted to test with our local partner, ecosystem partner, also member of WebFresh movement, LMT, a new product pay for public transport by adding the ticket to your phone bill, and without any apps, just using the QR code, accessing web environment, paying for the ticket, and the thing is done. So we coded a small prototype, and now our partners are testing it with the users in some of the cities. So we don't need to invest in. So the question is, when you are creating your solutions, what kind of off-the-shelf already existing solutions you can use and leverage to minimize the overall technical footprint of your new application or solution? Or in other words, basically thinking of what is the minimum least amount of code required to support your initial minimum viable product, MVP, or your prototype.
Wow. That means that actually everyone can now be a programmer. Everyone can create their own system, right? So with the just kind of plug and play, drag and drop boxes into the functionality, right?
Exactly.
And wow, that's cool. That's actually great adoption. This similar thing yesterday was spoken about our Estonian colleagues who are working with the computer, so democratizing the computer vision here in our Baltic market, which is as well really cool thing. And
yes.
So true. And so I think you were planning to refer to them. Wow, great. And
yes, I was. It's just a proof that these trends are not just globally, or not somewhere taken from the sky or big CEO imagination. It's something already living in our local ecosystem and in the startups what they are building. Yeah, so I was really happy to see them on the opening ceremony. Really cool. They're using already existing surveillance cameras and using those for AI data.
Right. So actually, with the so I myself, so I was looking with very big hopes into the low-code trend, because from one hand side, I have this strange dream to train the robots in the future. So in my household, for example, so I don't have kids, but I thought of maybe I should adopt some robot, and I was really kind of scratching my head. So how could I find the proper kind of technical low-level communication with the robots? And apparently the low-code is the answer for that. So Actually, yeah, we have a question from Andre, and maybe we can jump to that. So I will read it here. And yeah, so Andre is asking, so I have recognized that most of the hackathon solutions are built on 97% out of the shelf technologies. Yeah, so similar as you described here. And it is an efficient way to build a prototype. Are those easy to build solutions also and easy to copy and re-energiable? Okay, so so the question is how to rebuild and how to re-engineer the solution. Okay, right.
To scale it. Yeah, the question is about. So this is the first part is the prototype, yeah, but then how to
sure.
engineer it at the large scale, right?
Yeah, feel free to reflect on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take away the necessity, of course, of the IT side on this and the work of IT professional developers to scale the solution and create it larger. But as I don't see the question in writing, maybe I'm not getting the idea. Do you have any remarks, Staņislavs, on this question?
So yeah, maybe my thought, my reflection on this would be, so each and every solution is there. And so if you create something and with ready to pre-built blocks, it's about the question how you connect those blocks. So you have this low-code application which is consistent of those blocks. So, and the only question here is how you will connect those, which problem you apply to, you will apply to it. So this means that actually it is really easy to copy, really easy to reuse it elsewhere, but the domain where you will apply it and the problem you will choose to apply it for is on your own. And actually, I believe this is where the startups are forged and the ideas are created. So we're taking the known existing things and just applying to the new era, new way, new things. Sorry. And so the answer to that, so it's it allows everybody to be a technical innovator as well. And if some years ago we were afraid of building own website, now it is few clicks away. So that's the trend. So everybody is getting there, and we will see more and more of that in the technology in technologies era. So Zane, by the way, have you created something of your own in the low-code?
Not yet, but it is definitely my this year's resolution to try this out myself. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, definitely should do that. Okay, we have another question. So. It sounds like how sustainable is business model on easy to build tech stack? So yeah, I believe quite interesting question. So Zane, your thoughts?
Quite sustainable. Yeah, I think it's sustainable for when I was looking into low code. Well, actually, Snapchat was one of the companies. Well, it's not about mobility, but as an example, everyone knows Snapchat. Snapchat was one of the companies that also used low-code approach to create and scale their product to the market, and they succeeded with it eventually, right? So I think it is sustainable, but of course it has to then adjust and like I said, they need to, in case they want to scale and make it global and worldwide, there will be eventually IT investments in infrastructure needed. But to try out products, to launch at the market, get user experience, I think it is one of the most sustainable ways how to do it, because we don't need to invest a lot of money, a lot of infrastructure and resources to build neither like the physical or the full applications, right? We use just the minimal resources needed at this. We can prototype more and more new products, but in long term, to make this fully sustainable product, self-sustainable, then probably yes, additional investments need to be thought of.
Yeah. So Zane, this is the great example about Snapchat, and indeed, I believe it gives the main insight, saying that it's not with what you are building, it's so what business model you create for yourself. So it's not about the tool, it's about what you're building with it. So the tool, so the shovel is there, you will find your own way how to do the business with that shovel. And that's the truth about that. But right, how actually all of us being involved in the general trend. So how might we contribute to the general development of the future trends, and actually what our role as a citizen is there? So is there something in that if we go further to the next one? So how we can see us people involved?
Exactly, that's what how we can see. It's what our next and last but not least trend actually is covering. It's from us, from me as an individual, or us as an individual business, to we as a joint ecosystem, as a multi-party system. And this is also something, one of the lessons from the COVID times, when we needed more resilient, more adaptable and trusted foundation of partnerships between the technology partners or business partners. And there can be, of course, the technology side, where we can talk about many distributed technologies, but I don't want to go that much into that. I would like to cover like Staņislavs asked, the individual contribution to the mobility solutions and collaboration. And here again, I want to refer to another story from yesterday opening, which was absolutely wonderful and reflecting this trend from me to we, is the Stranzer, a ticketing platform that combines all mobility options bundled. And they showed us in the opening presentation, again, the co-founder was showing that the levels of collaboration. So on one hand, they are collaborating with the operators, transport operators, and they are by selling their tickets via their app, so including public and private transportation, shared cars, micromobility, and so on. And on the other hand, they have to partner with the end user apps, as they are not the end user, they are not customer centered, customer like B2C business, but B2B. So they are working with already existing apps in the market, not to integrate with airlines, with hospitality apps, with what else they were mentioning, bankings and bank solutions, booking solutions, and so on. So they are actually really building a multi-party system within their solution. So this was a really inspirational story. And when I checked their website, they are even on their website how they're reaching out to their partners. They are saying, let's join forces. So multi-part, this from me to we, is that this is increasing and is going to be increased, that we have to stop building just our own, being in our own with our fans, and not communicating with others, but let's join forces and build more accessible solutions to the people. And then regarding mobility solutions, so some ideas from how we can engage is that we as the users can help create these solutions by first of all using solutions and adding our own personalized individual data. For example, navigation for multimodal transportation. We have the first mobility point in Riga in VEF quarter, but do we have a good tools used how we can see already in the navigation or payment tool, mobility tool, how we can switch between multimodal transportation tools. Myself, I use currently my own vision on the streets. I go somewhere, I see on the street e-scooter, and I realize, oh, maybe I could get faster to my end destination. Therefore, I pick it up and just pay and go. But yeah, I needed to download again new app for it, each e-scooter. And also, I think Mayor of Riga was in his opening speech was also mentioning is really each app for each e-mobility type of transport, shared cars, electric cars, or is electric scooters. Do we need for each mode of transport another app, or there can be other solutions? And so we encourage the hackathon teams to hopefully bring us some new ideas in. And same on top of the previous one is a personalized tourist route generation tool that these tools can be trained and diversified if we give our preferences and or data to it to them, so that the solutions can become more diverse and we really bring new changes into new habits. Because sometimes we could use another option of another traveling, but usually if we want to go some off-road traveling, we are using some life hacks or some life tricks where to go, but there is no already existing solution where we can add our preferences and then the route is generated for us. So these are some of the technical solutions, and I want to maybe, before we move to the questions, finish with an European Union initiative on urban mobility data gathering and initiative. It was a 3-year-long pilot project in 6 European neighborhoods going on in parallel, where citizen mobility data were gathered through mobility game. So not going into the details, but as more you used the bike or so cycling, walking, or other sustainable green low emission modes of transport, the more points you win in the game. And this initiative and this research, so the data was impressive, and they were reducing the carbon emissions associated with these active users of this game, of this mobile app, by 40%. There. And of course, all this data that were gathered on their commuting habits, their flows, where they are going, by installed sensors also in the neighborhoods, was opened for use for the businesses and analyzed for urban planning. So this was again multi-party system where government came in place, where citizen science was used, some gamification elements, and then businesses can use the open data to develop new solutions.
Wow, that's a great thing. Yeah, so indeed. So basically what we are looking at is how to create a single point experience for the people. So everybody joins in to create the experience, right? And the question is how we are kind of feeding all the system back with providing the data, which is then crucial for further development or in evolvement and improvement of the things, right?
Yes, exactly. Any questions in the comments that we have? We have covered the main 3 trends. We have some about 10 to 13 minutes, I guess, or more left. Actually, I'm not. Nine
minutes to go. Yeah, so all is good. So at the moment, so there are no questions. But I think what we can explore here in a bit is the question how each of us can contribute to the data generated, because what we are all not good about is providing the feedback or spending time to provide the feedback for something, or so how to be in control of the data what we are providing the feedback of. And actually there is this movement which is called open data framework, where actually I as an individual, I'm in control of data what I'm generating, and I am deciding with whom to share it. And this is as well this way how the data is both kind of generated at the first place. So we are there doing the things, interacting with the systems, interacting with the environment, and then how we can control all of that data in order to give it to the right use. Or some actually are saying that our own data is the thing which we can sell even so. So this is actually another concept which is worth to see, worth to explore, and actually I think the lot of the people are looking into that. I know that there is thing happening in Switzerland and Sweden as well. So in both of those countries, and so here it is the thing. So yeah, Zane, what do you think about that?
Nice that you mentioned about open data. Yeah, we have talked about open data, I think also in open innovation meetups in Riga that we were hosting, and I'm happy that that we can share also a case that in our WebFresh district in the at Web Mobility Point, we also have the data gathering sensors installed, and we have the data stations where we have the open data published on WebFresh and accessible on WebFresh website. So I hope that this will be as a first, again, front runner, or showing that it is not so hard to do it. And we just need to work on it, and then hopefully some of the hackathon teams find this data useful. And if I'm not mistaken, from the marketing materials, I somewhere noticed that there was a state enterprise or someone else who was giving also open data to the hackathon teams and a challenge together. But maybe I'm mistaken with some other hackathon. Basically, I totally support that. Let's try out with a little bit of trying to use open data, giving out open data, and we'll see what the benefits are there, and then we can scale it more and more.
Yeah, true. Actually, I think a few years back, I even heard about some initiatives or future ideas where people were talking, hey, why don't we have a country to be a provider of data as a service? So opening the state level services for the companies on the data which is collected on the state level. So, but I think, yeah, so having nice initiative, there's quite a lot of the work to be done. And so frankly speaking, I haven't heard about any further things about it. But indeed, the truth is in the fact that as much as data we collect and as much as we, of course, anonymized and without ability to trace each and every single individual, we share that data to the businesses, to the enterprises. They actually, all along, the new startup ideas could emerge because the data is there. And actually, so I believe we are ready to close the sessions shortly, but maybe before we do that, and yeah, so there are no questions, unfortunately. But maybe, Zane, are there any suggestions or you might have to our hackathon participants and some basically good words to them?
First of all, I want to thank them for joining in this Friday afternoon, and for everyone who joined this hopefully a little bit entertaining and informative session with some new insights. I encourage people to don't be afraid to be the drivers of sustainable change within our cities, within our communities. For the hackathon teams, I wish them really I hope that they have taken at least one takeaway from this, from these 1 hour that we spent together, and that when they go back in with in their teams and in their solutions, they will say, but hey, let's think about this aspect, this trend. I heard in this Accenture session that this is the new trend expecting us, how our solution will be implementing that, so that tomorrow in the final pitches we can hear some great ideas similar to the opening ceremony, when really some inspirational startups surprised us. And yeah, that's from my side. And how about you, Staņislavs? I know you are a mentor for hackathon teams. What are your first impressions and some
yeah, right. Indeed. So actually, as of the kind of mentoring of this hackathon, the experience is there are a lot of energized people who are really want to see the better world, and of course some are trying the ideas which are really kind of sometimes you want to kill at the early beginning, but yeah, you must do that just in a way that people continue to with a great spirit and continue to innovate. Of course, here are two things what I would want to recommend to everyone when you are thinking about your ideas. So it's actually more than that. So it's about checking the relevance, checking the reality. So is your solution applicable to more and more individuals, or they are just looking for a single small group? So how you provide the inclusion, so what your kind of idea is building on, so which is your, so what is your market, what are your potential people? And here it's crucial to remember even those who are not so much tech adoptive. And so all of that means that we must remember this kind of inclusion, relevance, and check the actual reality, not only see the things from one side perspective. And this is what I suggest to everyone. So do be kind of continue to be innovative, but do remember to check with the folks you are doing this innovation for, because it is kind of key cornerstone of success. So I believe we are here and out of the time, and so thank you everyone to be part of today. And see you all at 12 tomorrow, East European Standard Time. Remember that. So it's Riga time tomorrow at noon. Join to see the pitches and let's see the great innovation. And let's do the innovation together. Right. Thanks, Kira, and good luck.
Great. Thank you all. Have a great evening and night ahead. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Zana. Thanks, Staņislavs. Thanks, Accenture, for generous support in this wrapping up session on how can technology support and foster a cleaner and a smarter mobility in our cities. And as Zana, as you said, we believe that data and models and twin models especially will be deployed in the future. So guys, I think you are a voice from the future. Quite a few of the startups were yesterday as well. As far as the success of our work, we have got more than 20 teams working as we speak right now from across Europe and the globe as well. So we think there's quite a bit of interest in what we do here. And the results of that we'll see tomorrow at 12 at noon. And Zana herself and our experts from Tanzer and Startup Wise Guys and Lemte will be in a jury to evaluate the ideas, the prototypes and pitches tomorrow, and the teams that are fighting for 6,000 years of worth of prize for the first, second, and third teams. And again, just to make sure that this is a kickoff event for Incubator. So we hope the teams that are successful and perhaps not successful will continue the work in Incubator from June to October, when they can deploy their prototypes and their ideas or services in real environment with help from City Council and from our mentors, which we've been working with along the hackathon. Again, that's the time for you to save some money and nerves and also get a bit of resources from our side to deploy your products and services. So that's a great encouragement and invitation for all of you who are taking part in this hackathon, as well as just tuning in for the session tonight. So see you tomorrow at noon for the pitches and for the jury verdict, and best of luck for you, those of you who are still working on the ideas or perhaps are in the midst and heat of the action with finalizing your ideas for tomorrow. So again, thanks to Accenture, thanks to Teikums for hosting us in the best co-working space in Riga, Teikums. Thanks for generous support from the Dutch Embassy, as well as LMT in supporting the session today at 9 a.m. And obviously EIT Urban Mobility, which hosts the hackathon, and from June, the Urban Mobility Incubator. Stay tuned, see you tomorrow at 12 and have a great evening. Bye.